So that you said this is your first time, like
Getting coaching, yeah.
okay, but like have you
Yeah.
watched like any other like sessions or
Yeah, I've watched a lot of like, well, I found you from Zen's website or
okay,
Zen's Discord. I've
uh-huh,
watched some of his sessions. I've watched LS,
okay,
and then some other people.
okay, okay. Can you send me op.gg?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Do that
So
real
like,
quick.
what's the struggles that you're going through? Like, what's the goal here? Like, tell me a bit about yourself.
Okay, so I've been playing. How long have I been playing? Since season 5. Okay, so 5 years now.
Mm-hmm.
I've been platinum last 3 seasons. Um, so honestly, my big goal for this season is just get diamond. Because I last season I got pretty close. I got to plat 1 diamond promos.
Okay.
Um, so this season I'm trying to comfortably get into diamond D4, D3. Maybe D2 if I can. I don't know.
Okay.
Um, and then hopefully like someday I can move into master grandmaster.
Okay.
But my main goal for this season is just to get diamond.
Okay. Like
Um,
Diamond 4, Diamond 3, Diamond 2, somewhere
yeah,
like that,
exactly.
right? Okay.
Yeah.
Um, how do you see the game? Like, what's your mentality when you go into a game? Like, what's the struggles here?
Um. So I used to be. I mean, I guess I still kind of am a Zed one trick.
Uh-huh.
Like this season I've played mostly Zed,
Mm-hmm.
but recently I've dropped him and I've just started playing Orianna solely.
Okay.
Um, because I she's better for climbing, and I've been trying to like learn the fundamentals of mid lane without being carried by like my mechanics from just playing Zed for so long.
Okay.
Um, so um, mostly laning is my biggest thing. Like I'd say if I played 10 games, I'd probably win lane 6 or 7 times.
Okay.
But obviously that's not enough if I'm trying to climb. I
Okay.
want to be able to win lane comfortably every time. And by
Mm-hmm.
win lane, it's not necessarily like killing them over and over. Some games it's just like out CSing. Um, so I feel like I have a lot to improve on in that aspect.
Okay. I'm just
Um,
looking at your OP, and it seems like it feels like you have very inconsistent games, and like
yeah,
the consistent thing about you is I feel like you're able to CS fairly well in on almost every game.
mm,
Um, but I think hold on, let me just check one more. Okay. You yeah, it's like there's a lot of inconsistency going on in your games. Like some games you're doing well, some other games um you're doing all right, but you're not really looking to like it's hard for you to carry.
yeah, exactly.
Is
Yeah,
that what I mean? Okay.
yeah.
Um okay, do you have a game that you want me to watch?
I've been trying to open a leak line for like 10 minutes. It just won't open.
Okay.
But oh,
I
you can open it from your side, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. So I would probably say the Lux game. Yes, my most recent game
your Lux game? Oh, against Lux? Okay.
against Lux. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Um okay. Let's see. The 5-5 in one game, right?
Yes, 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 yes.
All right. Let me just share my
Yeah, I
screen.
felt like that game was really tough.
Okay. So mechanics, you said like mechanics. You said like you have fine mechanics, but the problem goes into when you have like you don't want to rely too much on your mechanics too much.
Yeah, with Zed, I was
With
talking about.
Zed.
So, like,
Okay.
I could win a lot of games just because, like, um, at least at a level that I can just beat other players just purely by that alone.
Uh huh.
But I want to actually like get good at mid lane in general.
Okay. I mean,
Um,
having good mechanics is never a bad
yeah,
thing.
that's part of it. But like being able to do it with other champions as well.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
like I mean, you can see my win rate. Like other champs is almost all below 50, and then Zed is like 53.
Yeah. Yeah. I just noticed.
Yeah.
I think. Well, thing is like there are sometimes that you usually get carried by your champion.
Yeah.
Sometimes the champion on its own is just that much better
Yeah.
uh,
Exactly.
than the enemy champion. Zed is one of those champions that like when you're around like I would say like silver, gold, platinum.
Hmm.
A lot of players don't play around him. They don't respect like the range he has, the burst that he has, and then most games you just
Yeah.
snowball off the rail with him.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. I see
a
that
lot
a
of players
lot.
don't itemize around him as well. They don't get summer spells around him. Like I'm
Yeah.
willing to bet like there's probably like like 8 out of 10 games the enemy probably doesn't really respect your damage and then they just die
Yeah.
like in lane.
Yeah. Yeah. They pick like Luxmid and then they take Ignite and like
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
no stopwatch or anything.
Mhm. Okay.
Yeah.
You can see everything, right?
Uh. Yes.
Okay. I don't know why my taskbar has been acting up lately, but it should be fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you played this matchup before?
Yeah. I've played it a good amount. Um. So I don't know. Think so. I did try to think about it before I went to lane.
Okay.
I knew. I mean, Flex has better wave clear because her E does a lot more damage early
Okay.
than my Q.
Okay. Um,
And she has more range.
what's your runes for Orianna?
I go sorcery. Yeah.
Okay. Sure. Uh, why do you take Aerie like compared to the others here?
So honestly, I haven't really thought much about it. I think I just looked at pro builds one time just to see what pro people were taking,
Okay.
and I just took that.
Uh,
Um,
okay. So I'll just run through a really quick explanation on in runes so
okay,
you can get up to date. So Aerie
okay,
Aerie is like the half and half of like you want some damage but you also want utility.
uh,
Aerie is never bad for Orianna because Orianna works well because she has a shield. So Aerie will generally Aerie will never be bad in most matchups. For
okay,
some matchups, you can go for what's that? Phase rush as well.
great
If you
rush.
need the mobility to run from ganks. So like if you're up against like heavy gankers or like ganks
Yeah.
junglers that would just run to your face. Phase rush is not too
Mhm.
bad. It acts as a defensive keystone. Um,
Okay.
Mana flow is always good. Transcendence is always good. And then okay. So occasionally, if you are in lane where you so the difference between Scorch and the clear difference between Scorch and Gathering Storm is one allows you to be massive early, the other one lets you scale much
Mhm.
better, much better. Scorch on its
Yeah.
own, the value comes from how many times you can poke in lane, and you know how much the enemy is willing to trade with you. The more you trade, the more value comes out of Scorch.
Okay.
Gathering Storm is one of those runes that like if the enemy is very passive, and you
Mhm.
don't really have to do anything to win your lane, Gathering Storm is never bad in most
Okay.
situations. Um, and obviously, when you come to secondary rune, you can either go for Domination, Inspiration, or I keep forgetting what's the green one. The Resolve tree.
Resolve.
Yeah, the Resolve tree. These three are generally good. Sometimes you may go for Precision tree, just so you can get the Presence of Mind, so you can get
Mm.
some mana regen. But in most
Yeah.
cases, mages don't really use Precision tree too well. Like 99% of the time. Um,
Okay.
for Domination, Taste of Blood is generally good. It's basically like your extra pot going to lane. Uh,
Mhm.
Most cases, you can go for the healing keystone, or like the healing rune instead of Ultimate Hunter. Um, because in most
Okay.
cases, like Ultimate Hunter, you don't really use your ult twice in a team fight.
That's
Uh,
fair. Yeah.
right? Because if you're taking Ultimate Hunter, most cases you should be able to wait for your next ult cooldown. And Orianna's ult cooldown isn't really that long.
Yeah.
So you don't really need your ult to be up. Or like you don't really have to have your ult up every time.
Yeah.
Whenever fights happens. Um, so yeah, the healing one is generally good. You can take Ingenious Hunter as well. If you're going for a GLP rune, but if you're going for GLP, most cases you will be going for Electrocute, Electrocute or Phase Rush.
Okay.
because GLP acts as a stack for phase rush or electrocute.
Okay.
But again, so moving on, like if you're going for electrocute, you would be having electrocute, taste of blood, eyeball collector, and either I keep forgetting what this is, but like the healing one and
Hunter.
ultimate ingenious hunter.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
Uh, if you're having a really tough matchup, you can go for sorcery, and then you can go for resolve,
Okay.
with bone plating and the one that gives you like HP when you kill minions or like when
Yeah.
minions die
Yeah.
around you.
Growth.
Yeah, like
Jumpsuit.
overgrowth. Yeah, overgrowth.
Overgrowth. Yeah.
That works pretty well if you're against like super tough matchups. So things like Zed, Talon, like matchups that you just need a bit more tankiness in your kit.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But in those cases, you should also be taking barrier, barrier exhaust or
Yeah.
even heal. Okay. So
Okay.
these are just the runes. Okay, so
Sweet.
we move on to the game itself. So see against Lux. Okay. Let's see. Just gonna move forward a bit. Okay, what do you think you should be doing here?
Okay. So I thought I would just try to queue the wave level 1,
Okay.
and
No, I mean like right here, like in this
oh,
frame.
yeah, I should have probably gone into the side bush
Yep.
because I think I tapped out here because I was doing something.
do you
But
do you always tap out? Is it a habit?
no, not always. Something just came up. Yeah, I usually try to go into the side bush because having vision there is
Hmm.
important.
You need to get vision there. You need to defend against the enemy invade if they do invade. And I would say this, like, even though there are cases where you can't really stop them from invading, at least you let your teammates know that they are indeed invading.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me check if is it because I'm not in.
So do you recommend like the side bush by mid lane or like that corridor next to raptors or wraiths or whatever they're called?
So there's two places you can be at.
Mm-hmm.
You can either stay around here when you start the game, and then so if they invade,
Mm-hmm.
you will be able to see. You'll be able to get vision around them. Um,
Mm-hmm.
this is kind of like a defensive start if you know that if you know that you can't walk up here around this side. Oh my god, please.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if you know that, or like if someone's already covering this side and no one's covering this side, you can walk to the other side, or vice versa. But
Okay.
another case, you can also, like, let's say if you're going for this side, you can hide here until 120, 120 to 122,
Okay.
and then walk up here to put a ward here, around here. Just
Okay.
Yeah, like this ward is fine, but a better ward would be around here, so you'll be able to
Oh,
see if
okay.
they're going through this side here.
Okay.
That's usually the case that's usually the case when you start your level 1. Gets information about the enemy team on what they do.
Okay.
Like most cases, like
Okay. Cool.
in cases where it does count, it really helps. But in most cases, if it doesn't, at least you're providing information to your team. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Let me just change to yeah. That's fine. So you start the lane. You bring ideal. Again, we will walk through that. So, what's the game plan here?
I was trying to push and try to get level 2 first,
Mhm.
but I guess it's kind of hard against Flux. So I was just trying to stand outside of the wave so I don't get hit by her E, or if she does hit me, she doesn't hit the wave,
Okay.
and just farm up. And I know once I hit level 2, I can um kind of trade with her a little,
Okay.
but she does outrange, so it's a little bit tough.
Okay. So
Also, we have a Rek'Sai, so
having Rexa is
I'm
all.
pushing it.
I mean, the idea, like right here, if the game plan is to push for level 2, you should be focusing your
Hmm.
your spells onto the minion wave on its own.
Yeah.
Um, what I mean by that is, like, so look at let me just control. So if you want to push for level 2, use your Q onto minion on just the minion wave, and like if she's in the middle of the wave, then you get a bonus hit on her. But if not, just try to push
Yeah.
for level 2. Try not to do like both at the same time, where you want to push the lane and you also want to harass her, because that's what you're doing right here. And then
Okay.
you forfeit the level 2 here, because ideally you are able to push her in if you want to, But one thing you have to worry when you are pushing level 1 for this is that right now you don't really have vision on the side that you're standing. So it can be a bit risky. What I mean by that is like you look
Yeah.
at bot side and you don't have vision around here.
Yeah.
So it can be risky if somehow Warwick's randomly decides to gank you level 2. But like 90% of the time that won't happen. But in those cases where it does happen, you might get chunked. And then you start to lose control of the lane from that point onwards.
Yeah.
So even if you want to push for level 2, stand on the side where it gives you the most or like the least chances to die.
Okay.
So that would
So in this
be,
case, it would be like in the middle,
yeah, either
kind of.
here or here.
Okay.
This is like slightly dangerous, just like
Okay.
ever so slightly dangerous. Again, like if you want to push for level 2, hit like use your Q to hit this instead of going for this, because this doesn't really
Okay.
do much for you here.
That's true.
Because you're just
Yeah.
harassing like some poke here. Instead, it's much better to push for level 2 and then poke her for when you're level 2 and she's level 1. Right.
Okay.
So look at this. You try to Q. I think you try to Q here. Yep. So yeah, you even missed the Q here. So that doesn't really help you a lot.
Okay.
You're spending a lot of like that was just wasted mana there. Okay.
Yeah.
Again, this is the case as well. If you want to push level 2, focus on the wave. Now both of you hit level 2 at the same time. And already at like level 2, you already have mana bar. Now that's really bad for you because Orianna is one of the, I think she's probably one of the most like mana hungry champs compared to a lot of mages.
Yeah.
Another mage which is mana hungry is also Azir. But Azir is able to clear much faster with his sand soldiers. Whereas whenever you Q, that's like, let's see, that's 30 mana, and every W is 30. So at the start, at 2 minutes, you've used your Q for 3 times, which is 90 mana, and then you have W, which is 70 mana. So at 2 minutes alone, you've already spent about, let's see, 260 amount of mana here.
Yeah.
So let's say on the next minute you do like another 3 Qs, another W. Let's be generous, and let's say you're able to regen like 70 mana. So like on the next minute you can probably only use 3 Qs and 1 W, or like 2 Ws, and you have to base.
Yeah.
Ideally, when you're playing champions with mana flow ban, you're playing a mini game. Just use your Q to poke her out and stack your mana flow. If you're above 80% of mana, feel free to use your W, whatever. But whenever you're below 50%, or like below the middle point, try to reserve yourself in terms of mana. Because it's also realistic to say like when you hit level 3, you're probably gonna, or like when you hit level 4, to be more realistic, when you hit level 4, you're probably gonna have E leveled up, and you're probably gonna use your E in cases where she tries to poke you out.
Yes.
Right? Ideally, like look at this, right? Right now you're in a really tough spot right now, because when you hit level 3, so like, when you hit level 3, you probably have like extra 30 mana for you to spend. But you're still gonna have a hard time because you don't have as much mana against her to sustain. You have an HP advantage, but as long as she doesn't get any more poke from this point onwards.
Hello.
Yeah, can you hear me? Hello. Hello.
This might be me.
Okay. Let's see. Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, okay, sure.
Okay.
You can hear me, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, as I was saying, right now she has a HP, you have an HP lead, but she has a mana lead here. So, as long as she doesn't get like hit by you, like, for no reason at all, or like she respects your damage and she just tries to Q the wave and slowly farm up, she should be fine. Cuz in a scenario where you try to poke her, but in this kind of scenario, if you miss one W or you try to W again, and if you hit her, it doesn't even matter too much because you're gonna run out of mana, so you can't really kill her. The scenario here, let's say if you hit her with another W, If Rek'Sai ganks for you, then it's all good. But if Rek'Sai doesn't help you gank and she plays it really safe on one side, then you're really screwed because now you don't have mana to play the lane.
Yeah.
Let's see. All right. So right now you're just using Q for not too much reasons. Right here, don't level up E yet
Okay.
because you want to use your Q to push in the wave.
Yeah.
You have a full bar of HP right here.
Yeah,
So
that's
you
true.
you don't really need your E to really preserve this much HP. And also E causes 60 mana, whereas I think level 2 Q probably causes like 35 or 40 mana. It's much more
Okay.
efficient to level up Q here because especially if you're going for trades, having
Yeah.
Q level 2 is much better than having E level 1 because you will be able to poke her
Okay.
out.
Yeah.
And you will
True.
be able to do more damage, and also you can able to push the wave out much more efficiently.
Yeah.
Check the CS here, pretty good. I think you're CSing almost perfectly. I think you just missed one in most cases.
Yeah.
So right here, I'm pretty sure at this point when you make this Q, you start to realize, okay, my mana is low. I have to start preserving.
Yeah.
It's fine. But right now, if you look at your inventory, you still have a ward up, and now because you have a ward up around here, you don't know where the enemy jungler is. I mean, obviously now you know, but like let's say if you were playing the lane earlier and you put a ward like on one side of the map, preferably on maybe this side,
Mm-hmm.
you'll be able to help out your jungler on trying to defend here. Because ideally, when you're playing Orianna, you should have priority in lane. You should be able to push level 1, level 2, level 3. Orianna is one of those champions that you should be able to push without too much problems. Same thing goes with Syndra. Same goes for Azir.
Mm-hmm.
And probably Xerath. And let's see, any other mages that I'm missing? Yeah, probably just these mages. There's probably a couple more, but these are the things I can that I can think
Yeah.
of for now. So right now, you're in a really awkward space because your jungler. Well, okay, fine. They don't fight anymore. But in the case, like say if you're able to push up this wave, you can
Mm-hmm.
go assist your jungler, and perhaps you
Yeah.
might be able to get a kill here. But because right now you're in this scenario where you are low on mana, it's really hard for you to move out of lane as well. Okay. And also, if you start corrupting potion,
Mm-hmm.
don't be afraid to walk up to take trades, because again you're full on mana
Yeah.
here, on HP here. You don't really need to preserve your HP too much. This also goes into the fact that because you have full HP and you have corrupting potion, you don't have to level up E.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
That's true.
Um,
Yeah.
in this scenario, when she does this kind of when the lane state is like this, what do you think you should be doing?
I could freeze this. Just walk up and
Yep. So
freeze it.
you can try to freeze it.
Yeah.
Ideally, let's see what you do here. Yeah. So if don't do this. And what you mentioned was right. If you want to freeze it, this is what you
Mm.
can do. You can because right now you have E leveled up. You can walk up a bit. Let the minions
Yeah.
sit here. Like this is
Yeah.
fine. Don't let it pass this line. Because if you let it pass this line, sometimes minion RNG can walk around the turret here, and then it kind of breaks your freeze right now. Theoretically, in another scenario, like let's say if you don't freeze, you should never allow Lux to roam for free. Now, but because in this scenario, where you harass a lot and you didn't focus on pushing out the wave, you allowed Lux
Mm.
to roam for free now. Now, if you freeze this wave, it's fine, but because you didn't, you let it shove towards you, then it's really bad. Because now Lux gets a roam for free, and if top dies, you are kind of responsible for it.
Okay.
Okay. Let's see.
So I was just thinking though, like if I tried to freeze her, what if she would just like she could push me out, right?
Yeah, but she would still stay in lane,
Okay, that's true.
so she wouldn't roam. Like she can try to break the freeze, but she would still. So if you freeze it right here, and let's say she stays in lane, she's still in a danger zone where So let's move the camera up a bit. So again, if you try to freeze the wave around here, she would still remain in this area in order to farm the upcoming wave, because your upcoming wave would be here, right? So she
Yeah.
has to be around here for her to actually farm the wave around here, right?
Mm.
So she's in danger zone, and if Rek'Sai decides to gank her, you have a much higher chance of killing her than if the wave was around this area here.
Yeah, that's true.
Again, she also has to burn mana to break the wave as well, because there's no way she's able to just break the wave fast enough before the next wave comes
Yeah.
for
Okay.
for you to not be able to hold the freeze.
Mm.
Okay.
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 Sounds
So right now you are so this is those kind of scenarios where it feels like it's not in your control, but it actually is.
Yeah.
These are
No.
the scenarios
Yeah.
where like you're kind of coin flipping the scenario. So let's say like okay, let's say the Lux moves up, and let's say your team is smart. Your team doesn't fight this, or like they know Lux is coming around, and then they back off. Then Lux loses. She doesn't lose much because again the wave is just pushing back, and if she comes back, then it's fine. But let's say your team is dumb. Okay, if your team doesn't look at the map, they don't realize that Lux is roaming. Then this is really bad because Lux now gets pressure on the lane, and then top lane is kind of losing. You lose top side jungle control, which is really
Yeah.
bad for your jungle and your top side. Because right now they're getting right now it's not too bad because top side is cleared and then your top laner is spacing. But in a scenario where like let's say your top laner is trying to have much more of a lane presence, then it kind of screws your top laner over because you allow Lux to roam for free here. Now Lux comes back, but she doesn't lose too much here. In fact, she doesn't really lose anything at all. So again, she's also doing the same mistake as you did. She should have just let the wave freeze right here. If she did, then you would be stuck here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Would have been a lot harder.
So this is good for you because you're playing on the pockets that you have a ward around, which is bot side. This is fine for you. You also have your jungler around. This is really good for you. You're able to roam this because the wave is just pushing in. It really doesn't hurt you too much.
Yeah.
It's fine. Right here, you can just hold the wave here. You don't have to push it in. Because right now, look at the wave. Where is it pushing?
He's pushing into me.
Right, it's pushing into you.
Yeah.
Even if you push her in, can you kill her?
Honestly,
Realistically,
no.
like realistically, right? You can't really kill
No.
her even if you push the wave in, even if you harass her. One, because you don't have enough mana, and two, you probably don't have the damage to actually one-shot her from this HP, especially with her with barrier, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So realistically, you are not able to kill her. So what's the best move here?
Just conserve mana and just farm.
Right. So you can conserve. You can conserve a bit of mana.
Yeah.
Let's see if you have your.
I think thin the wave a little bit, right?
Yep. You can thin out the wave a bit, but this is fine because again, if you count the minions, there's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then you have 5. You can probably turn out the numbers. Well, it's probably fine because like 8 minus 5, there's still 3.
Yeah, 3.
So at the very end, you'll probably still be fine unless she fast. So if she tries to fast push this. So let's say she uses her, if I'm not mistaken, I think her spells is okay. So if she tries to E the wave, then you can trade in with ability. If she E's, then you QW.
Okay.
You basically trade abilities, and that's fine. But again, you're running a bit low on mana, so you need to be a bit more cautious here. Again, this posturing doesn't really benefit you because again, you can't realistically kill her. Right now, you should just hold the wave. So I'm pretty sure you're gonna let the wave crash, but let's say you hold the wave. What else should you do after you hold the wave?
So I'm kind of low on mana. I mean, she's kind of gankable right now, or at least we can blow some. So I'd probably ask Rek'Sai, or I'd probably ping mid lane for Rek'Sai to look. But I don't know what else I could really do because of mana.
Okay. So right here, when this happens, when this lane state happens, so if she decides to stay in lane without you, let's say if you don't interrupt her base and she decides to stay in lane, you could do that. But ideally, let's say she wants to base. Now this is a really bad basing lane state for Lux because this wave is pushing, and if you freeze this wave, if she notices, she will break it. But if she doesn't, and let's say she bases, right now, right here, you can freeze the wave, tin it out by like you can kill like maybe this. Oh well, here let's see. This minion here, this minion here, this minion here. Leave these alive, and then hold the freeze here.
Mm.
Next
And
wave will
then
come. This next wave will come, and then it will still remain in this spot by the time you come back to lane after you recall.
okay.
This
So
way,
just
if she doesn't break the freeze,
mm.
the wave will always remain here, and you should be fine. She's gonna get denied one wave as well.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
makes
That makes
sense.
sense.
Yep.
So would I? So I would just stay then.
You don't have to
So
stay. You can base.
I could base. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Cool.
Because when you base, the minions are still gonna cut themselves out. Because at the very end
Yeah.
of the day, so because you leave like maybe 4 minions, realistically
Mhm.
there's only 3. Like if you add up the health bars, there's really only 3 minions, realistically,
Yeah.
or like practically. So if you leave up 4, the next 6 will come. The next 6 will come. There will be 10 here. There will be 6 here. 10 minus 6. There will be still 4 on the minions,
Yeah. Yeah. And I just
theoretically.
continue from there.
Right? Makes sense. And
Yeah, that
and
makes
again,
sense.
because you don't because you want to freeze it here, you don't want to let it push too deep here, because if you do, there can be cases where the minions RNG would just push into turret, and then you start losing waves. So
Yeah.
ideally, you want to keep the minion freeze around this line here.
Okay.
This is fine. This is fine. Like anywhere after this line starts to get a bit dicey, so
Okay.
it's best to just keep it around here.
Okay.
Okay, makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yep.
So I think you don't let I think you let it push in.
Yeah.
You let it push in. Now, right here, let's see. You start to burn pots, but again, because this pot usage here isn't too efficient because you have HP.
Yeah.
Because you're just using this as a mana pot, which isn't too good. The
Yeah.
correct usage of corrupting potions is really just to apply the burn, and well, kind of sustain as well. But in
Yeah.
most cases, you want to use both sides of the coin here, which is to
Yeah.
sustain and also harass with the DOT of corrupting pot.
Mhm.
So right now, this is actually bad for you because you actually also want to recall because you're low on mana.
Yeah.
You can
And it's
if you
pushing in.
even if you try to let the lane, like even if you force Lux to stay, she actually gets the benefit here because she has the mana to play the lane against you.
Yeah.
So let's say let's say in theory, okay, you stop her
Mhm.
base, you want to lane with her a bit more, but what's the goal here? Like you don't really gain, like right now you don't
Yeah.
really gain a lot. In the previous like scenario, you do gain a lot because she bases, but the wave is right here. Right now, you're just tossing the coin back to her, because now
Yeah.
the lane becomes even again. But because you're low on mana, the lane
Mhm.
isn't really even for you.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, you're playing on the wrong side of the map again. This is where ward could be. You also have no wards
Yeah.
around this side. Your wards around this side, so always remember to play bot side or where your vision is. Like if you walk up here, like look at this, right? You
Yeah.
have no
I do
vision at
remember
all.
realizing this in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That is really bad.
Yep. It feels like this. These are the kind of scenarios where like you're kind of too tunneled in the fact that I want Lux to stay in lane because I'm told, or like I've been practiced to never let the enemy base for free.
Yeah.
Hence, like you're like, oh, I'm so focused on the fact that I need her to stay in lane, but you're also not keeping in mind that where you're standing, the pockets you're standing, could kill you right here or make you burn
Yeah.
sums. And if you do burn sums, then it's an ultimate loss for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So right here, what do you think you should be doing?
Just hard shove.
Yep, helps. You know, because you're low on mana, you really want to just focus on hard shoving. Don't even try to harass her at this point.
Yeah.
Like again, you poke her low, but because you're low on mana, your ult costs 100 mana.
Yeah.
Your
it's
ult
even.
probably you can't even Q R her because you don't have
Yeah.
enough mana for Q and R. Because your Q right now costs 40 mana. You need like a total of like 140. And
Yeah.
even if you get like another 40 mana here, she has barrier, she has W, so she's never really in risk of you actually killing her.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, this happens, but you don't really lose too much because Warwick with no mana is coming up, and then you push this in.
Yeah.
So this is actually a really bad play from them. But if they were smart, what do you think they could have done here?
Yeah, she could freeze that.
Yeah, she could actually. So Warwick could actually just help her hold the freeze, and then
Mhm.
she can just base, and then it'll be fine. But let's see if actually Warwick. So she
And
does
then
this. Hmm? What's that?
is this okay to stay here?
Let's see. I want to see
'Cause I
if
saw
you
her
could.
ult the wave. So.
You can stay here. Ideally, you want to base, but because she, so this is also exclusive or only to Lux. But also, you don't have to push back the wave. You can just did
That's
what I
true.
told you. You can just freeze. You
Yeah.
can just hold 3 minions here, um, and then start basing
Yeah.
because the wave is
That's
already
fair.
here.
Yeah.
So you can just start to base at this point onwards. Rek'Sai is really helpful right here because he helps you push in the lane.
Yeah.
So this is fine for you. She does get the tempo of coming back to lane first, but depending on what she does, here, it will ultimately affect the game. Let's see, both of you should be able to. Yep, both of you gets last chapter. You get an extra boot because you stayed for an extra wave. One thing to keep in mind is that when you're basing, it's also important to know like how much gold you're basing with, because in most cases, when you base, the enemy probably has the same amount of gold that you have.
Yeah.
So let's say you have, like in this kind of scenario, let's say you have before she altered the wave, she probably has about 140, maybe 150 gold. I want to say like 1400, maybe 1500, and then she based. But after she pushed in the wave and you stayed, you probably have 1500. And because you shoved in the next wave, you have 1600, which allows you to buy another boot. Well, probably 1600 to 1700 here.
Yeah.
So you get a pink ward. It's important to keep this in mind because sometimes you might be able to get an extra item over her. Maybe like an Emto, maybe a Duck Seal. Just a small component to get it against her. Right here, what you could have done is that when she comes to lane, check her inventory. So because if you check her inventory, because she has a pink ward, you can constantly see like, oh, after a while, oh, where's her pink ward? So if you click tab, if her pink ward is gone, you can probably estimate where she put her pink ward depending on where she went. So because she went bot side, if you're constantly keeping an eye onto her, you would know that, oh, she probably has a pink ward around like this area here. Um, if you did that, you probably don't have to waste this ward here.
Yeah.
Because now this ward becomes a free ward for the enemy team.
Yeah.
So now you actually have no vision around bot side, and also even if you want to place a ward here, why not just put a pink here instead? If you're able to walk here.
True. Yeah.
Right? Now this becomes really awkward for you because when the next wave comes, you are in danger of actually getting ganked. Because you have no vision when the lane resets. If you let the lane reset, that is. Let's see. Right here, so if you had vision around bot side, you can hold the freeze, because you're in no danger of getting ganked by Warwick from this side, But because you have no vision, letting it crash isn't too bad as well. You are actually able to hold the freeze if you're able to thin out the wave. Like let's say you kill this tree, you let this 2 die before the wave crashes, and then you just shoot yourself. And you have corrupting potions, you can just hold the wave. So you can just freeze the wave properly here. Right here, she clears the ward, she gets another ward in. So right here, when the wave resets, it becomes really awkward for you. Because you have no vision. You can't really walk up. If Warwick decides to gank you, you will ultimately have to burn sums. Which is really dangerous. I think Warwick walks through a fucking I'm pretty sure you see him, right?
Yeah.
Let's see. Do you not? It has to spot him, right? What? Yeah, you spot him. Yeah, so you spot him. I don't know why he does that. He is clearly able to see this scuttle vision here. So with this information right now, just push it up the wave and then go to check jungle, check the dragon here. You don't. Again, the reason why it's not too good to poke her out is unless you're able to get the kill onto her. If you can evaluate that the enemy mid laner is pure garbage and you can just get free kills on her, this isn't too good. It's much better for you to push out the wave, force her to stay on the turret, get priority, and start roaming around the map. This achieves more than what you are doing right now. Because right now again, if you can kill her, then it's good. But if she plays this lane right, it's really really hard to actually kill a Lux mid. Because right now you're basically both of you are actually just playing ping pong with each other. You push in the wave, she pushes in the wave, and then so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So right here, you guys know that they're at Drake. Rek'Sai goes. Now, if you were able to push out the wave, you could have just sandwiched the Warwick, and you've gotten a free kill. But because you didn't do that, I mean, it's still good because your team is able to. Okay, wait. It's okay. Let's go back a bit here. Okay, so right now you probably have information that okay, Warwick flashed out. Okay, and in your mind it's probably like, oh, Warwick probably won't go for this fight here. Thought it was free, which is it's normal to think that way because in most cases when they're low, when their bot lane just died, they probably shouldn't contest. But let's put in a scenario where things are much more even. Okay, let's say Warwick is much more healthier. Let's say Warwick is level 6, maybe maybe just 80%, 60%. Let's say their Ashe is just coming back from base because she just died, and then Zyra is still around mid. Okay, in that kind of scenario, okay, you definitely have to push out and then help your team to secure this dragon, because right now you're in a scenario again. You're in a scenario where you have control of the lane. Like just based on how you're playing against this Lux, you know that you're able to just shove her out. So you can just use your abilities to shove her out, and if she doesn't respond by shoving you out, you can get the room for free. But even if she does, you have to first push first. You can just Q W E and then Q again, and then you can just push in the wave, get a roam here for free. It can be a bit awkward for you because one, you don't have wards, so they might just collapse you from this bush or this bush. This is where this is where your pink ward starts to come in handy. Just put a pink here. Or you can even use Orianna, and this is like exclusive to champions where you can use your abilities to check brushes. So things like Xerath, Azir, Lux. Just use your Q here, Q here, Q here, just to check if they're around, and if they are, then you can just back off. I'm pretty sure you have like enough range for you to back off with as well. So this is all fine because the enemy is hardcore inting this. I can't believe this Soraka did not die because like these are variables that your team won the coin flip.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Because if things were a bit much more even, and if the the scales tilted towards the enemy a bit more, then you lose this really hard. And then you probably would have think like, oh, what could I have done there? What could you do is just push out the lane, and start moving. Okay, so right here again, at this stage, at this point of the lane, what do you think you should have done instead?
Just hard shove.
Right, because again, you can't realistically kill her under turret. However, what you can do is threaten to actually put her at a low enough HP that you might die for, that you might be able to die for, because she doesn't really have too much sustained backup right now. She only has one.
The only thing is Warwick is up though, so it's
but Warwick is still level 5. And Rek'Sai was around here. Like that's the like risky kind of play. Like Rek'Sai was around here. That's the kind of that's a bit risky. But again, you're just threatening her to potentially die for her. And now this also leads to a bit like to some things are happening on the map. So if you threaten her to let's say if you altitude her, she might go below, like if she doesn't barrier, if she doesn't barrier, she might go below 100 or 200. If she just barrier, maybe she has 300. Okay, and you start to walk up. So you start to walk up, but you keep in mind that because Warwick is up, it can be risky for you to die for her. Now you try to assess how she's playing her lane. Now if she's walking backwards, if she's showing signs of like, oh, she's like backing up, she's not really trying to walk up to contest, then you know that okay, probably Warwick is not here. If she tries to walk up and tries to like bait you out, that it becomes really clear or really obvious that okay, maybe someone's around here. So you have to check your surroundings. Now again, you also have your pink ward, right? So even like if you want to make this move, make sure you place your vision down before making this move. and it's actually absolutely safe for you to make this move right here.
Yeah. Okay.
And also because you have ignite, it's kind of it's a waste to take ignite if you're not playing this lane aggressive enough, because you might as well just take TP at this point. Okay, so we'll shell out this wave. Put a pink.
Hello?
Yep. Can you hear me?
Oh, sorry. I think that was me that time.
Okay. It's fine.
Yeah, so taking Ignite. I honestly didn't mean to take Ignite. I was gonna take Cleanse, but...
Yeah, cleanse is fine here. Yeah, cleanse is actually not too bad here. Ignite is okay if you... Generally, Ignite is never too bad in low elo, because most of the time like extra true damage is never too bad.
Yeah.
This is also one of those scenarios that because you have no wards, you walk in the bush for free, and then you just get punished for it. This could have happened like many times before this minute here.
Oh yeah.
But now you actually get punished. So now you lose a wave, and then now you also lose tempo, because now she's gonna base. She's gonna reach lane almost the same time with you, and now you're slightly behind.
Yeah. This lane is kind of hard now.
It's kind of hard because you know why it's kind of hard?
Yeah, because I made it hard on myself.
That's a byproduct of you not placing your wards down. You're not having vision down for yourself, so you're not actually protecting yourself in lane. You're very tunneled on the fact that you have to harass her out, without the intent of actually killing her. I'm sure like if she walks up you'll kill her, but like because she's playing kind of safe, you're unable to spot the pockets where you can actually punish her really hard.
Yeah.
There were some pockets where you could just out her, pull her back, W, Q, or like Q, R, W, E, Q, and then ignite, and then Q again. And then you don't have to kill her, but if she's low enough, threaten to like potentially dive her. But also keep in mind that, okay, if I'm gonna do this, I have to make sure I don't die myself.
Yeah.
Because if you die but you put her at that low, then it becomes counterproductive. Okay, right here, good dive. Pretty good. Holy shit! What the fuck?
Yeah, I think he ulted and then I started thinking.
I mean, this is really good dive. This is really good dive by Rek'Sai. A bit wonky on the out here because she actually pulled her further away from both of you.
True, yeah.
But I'm so surprised that the bind actually didn't hit you. Because if it did, probably you probably trade 1 for 1 here. Or yeah, maybe flash.
Yeah.
So it's fine. What do you think you should have done after the kill here?
I knew Warwick was up, so, but I'm not in danger because Rek'Sai is close.
And you also have flash?
Yeah, so I should probably hard push this wave because she's dead for 20 more seconds.
Okay, hard push and then?
And then recall? Yep. Or I could let it push in because this wave is going to push into me, and then if I recall right now, it'll be close to my tower, I think, when I get back.
You can shove this wave because she still has quite a long, not really long, but a decent amount of death timer left.
Yeah.
So you can try to shove this wave, but immediately recall. Don't greet for the plating, because you want to make sure that you base, and you want to make sure you either reach lane the same time with her or before her, so you get priority.
Keep the tempo.
Yep, the tempo as well.
Okay.
So right here, just shove the wave. You can try to, so efficiently you should try to just Q the wave, Q, W, pull the ball back so it deals damage, and then Q again. That's the most efficient way of actually clearing a wave with Orianna. So here you base, which is fine. By the time you base, you will hit you will hit base by the time she respawns, more or less.
Yeah.
So that's actually fine for you. Okay. Pretty sure she lives here. She lives. Okay, let's see. Okay, that's good. I was gonna say, like, do you W back your way back?
Yeah, I try to do that as much as I can.
Yep.
Sometimes I forget, but. I think I could have held that as well. Those 4 minions.
Uh, let's see. At this point, you can try to hold it, but you can try to hold it, and it'll probably be fine. But I think at this point of the game, especially when Dragon is also coming up soon,
Yeah.
it's much better to just get up and get priority around.
Yeah. True.
And also even if you want to hold the wave, make sure to preserve your health, because you just took like a huge chunk, about like 200 for free.
Yeah.
Again, you're in a scenario where So let's just talk about a bit more about trading. So let's say in even if you want to play this lane aggressively, be sure to walk up a bit more, so you zone
Okay.
her out. Right now you're doing a bit of both, where you're trying to play safe and also play aggressive.
Mm.
Realistically, it's really hard to do both, because you're not, you're like it's hard to do two things at once at League.
Yeah.
You either do commit to one thing or you don't. Um, if even if you want to play aggressive in this kind of matchups, be sure to walk up when you have the vision to play around, or when you know where the enemy jungler is. Right now you have a lot of vision where your bot side is. Preferably if you can get like another vision, vision control, or like control ward or vision ward around here. What the
Yeah.
fuck?
Then I'm
Around
totally
here?
safe.
Then you're totally safe. Then you can play
Okay.
uh around bot side around here. Then you can try to walk up and play a bit more aggressive, and
Yeah.
potentially score a kill here. I did one thing to keep in mind when you're playing against champions that has a what's the word, that has a very straightforward combo. Things like RE, things like Lux, things like Vel'Koz, where they just hit one skill shot and then they combo it into their QWR or whatever. Make sure you try to bait out the ability. What I
Okay.
mean by that is that you can, okay, in this scenario, say you're against Lux, right?
Mm.
What can you do to bait her ability?
Try to like wiggle a little bit, move in and out,
Can do that.
try to
You
see if
can.
I can bait out her snare.
That works,
Yeah.
but one thing to also keep in mind, do you know what spacing is?
Yeah.
Okay, so one thing you can try to do, okay, know how
Mm.
far her range of her Q is, and know how large the hitbox is. So you can walk up and then try to bait, like, so you walk up, but you keep in mind that you're just walking up to bait her and not trying to harass her. Keep your mouse
Yeah.
close to yourself, and this move on to like topics on like how you click closer to your champion so you dodge
Mhm.
easier.
Mhm.
You move up, and the moment her animation of throwing ability at towards you, you try to dodge it, and if you're able to dodge it, you are able to walk up for that brief period of time where her Q is on cooldown,
Yeah.
and then you can just straight up,
Okay.
like, if she stays in lane, you can just straight up kill her. You're at a point where you have enough damage to just absolutely one shot her, or make her
Yeah.
low enough that she's forced to base. So right here, after her abilities are down, be sure to walk up as well.
Okay.
She just used her abilities here. You can always walk up at this point. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. This is good. Like, know when to play aggressive. Like look at this, right? She just uses this ability. After she uses this, just walk up.
Okay. Yeah.
You'll never be in threat to die here.
Mhm.
Even if Warwick comes to out you, you can just flash away as well.
Yeah.
You want to play to win as much as you can.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure, like, even if Warwick comes here and even if you get hit by the ult, you should be able to live. Because I don't think
Yeah,
Warwick
because there's
has.
cooldown
Well, maybe
on.
maybe she's able to kill you. But in most cases, you should just flash away.
Yeah, I just will flash.
This is really good for Mew to actually follow the roam. Did you know that she has no flash?
I think. I honestly don't remember. I think I did know. I actually don't remember. I don't remember her flashing.
Okay, but regardless, I think regardless of whether like, obviously it's better if you knew that she has no flash, so you don't have
Yeah.
to waste your flash. But regardless of not, the motion here is good for you, because
Okay.
now you're blocking her from actually roaming down her to help her bot lane for free. Now, if even though she didn't get the roam and your bot lane wins, pretty one-sidedly, it's
Mhm.
still good that you're stopping her to roam for a free roam, because now you give them like zero chance of actually making the game harder for you, so you have a much
Yeah.
higher chance of actually winning the game. Um, right here, you should just base.
Yeah.
Do you know why?
I mean, I can't really do anything. No more plates, so
Yes, exactly.
yeah.
So yes, there's no more plates. You can't realistically take this turret down
Yeah.
before anyone comes to defend. You might get it really low if you stay, but you might as well just base, get much more better items, come back to lane, and then
Mm.
play the lane onwards from there. From that point onwards.
Yeah.
You should space again. Ideally, there's no plating for you to get. Um, Even if you want to stay, be sure to clear the next wave first before you base. Um,
Back on a ward. Oof.
let's see, 9. Now the wave is like pure RNG. Like now you're just betting on the fact that like your cannon is not it's not dumb, and their cannon is much dumber than your cannon.
Okay,
Because
so that is just RNG.
yes,
Cause I, go ahead.
sometimes the
Mm.
minions work in ways not even pros can explain. Sometimes the cannon,
Yeah.
sometimes your cannon can just be super dumb to not
Yeah.
hit the enemy cannon, and then
Uh huh.
or like super dumb to always just hit the like or your all your minions could just hit the enemy cannon, and then
Yeah.
you could just push forward. But
Uh
in
huh.
this scenario, because the I think the wave actually didn't meet in the middle. Oh well, did it? Let's see. Okay, so because there was one minion here before you left, it will
Mm.
actually push towards you, because now all the minions here pen okay. So all the minions here will just start focusing in onto this one minion here. So then
Yeah.
it will push towards you. But let's say if you push it too fast, or like the enemy minions doesn't reach your minions before they die, then it's gonna meet
Mm.
in the middle, and then it's RNG. It's pure RNG.
Yeah. Okay.
So
That
this
makes
is fine
sense.
for you. Now the wave will always push towards your side. This is not too bad. I mean this base timer is not too bad.
Yeah.
But ideally you want, well, this thing, right? Because if you had you based earlier, you would have been here for this dragon.
Yeah. 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 That's what I was gonna say.
So now you're giving dragon away for free, even though your team is hit, and then your Rek'Sai dies for free.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like the format that I just mentioned, you should just base immediately after she dies is probably the best option here, because now you actually
Okay.
lose one wave, you lose Drake. Well, you don't lose one wave, like you lose half a wave, you lose Drake, you lose your jungler, and then
Yeah.
you're kind of again you're playing ping pong again. Oh, you actually lose. I think you lose. Yeah, you lose Hero here as well. Well, unless you try to go up and defend.
Yeah. I should just hard check this.
Yep. You're repeating your habit, or like you're trying to. You're you're playing a fighting game.
Yeah.
You're playing a
I
fighting
think
game. Yeah.
that's kind of what I was thinking, like in the game, because like I always feel like I have to like kill them over and over. Because
Mhm.
like if I've tried like playing with the mindset of like more economy wise, and I just feel like if I don't get super fed, the game it just depends too much on my teammates, which obviously isn't true because I can still do a lot, but
Yeah. I mean, you do
I
a
don't
lot
know.
by having pyro in lane. You do a lot
Yeah,
by CSing. You do more by being able to CS for free, and you're forcing the enemy to pay a cost whenever they have to CS.
yeah.
Do you play any card games?
Not really, no.
Let's see. You don't play card games. Do you play any other games?
Uh, I play like FIFA and like sports games.
Ah, okay.
I played like poker.
Oh god, poker. Okay, well, I can't. I don't think I can use this term for poker. But let's say all the minions are actually cards, and then your HPs are actually chips.
Uh-huh.
Um, what I mean by having to pay a cost is that you want to be able to CS this without burning too much of your chips, and you force the enemy whenever they want to CS to burn a lot of chips. And if they lose
Yeah.
the gamble of you punishing them,
Mhm.
then they lose a lot of chips, and then well, you don't gain chips. Obviously this is not like lifesteal or whatever, but like
Yeah.
the point, you get what I'm trying to say, right? The point that I'm trying
It's
to
like
bring
maximizing
here.
like what you can lose versus what you can gain, kind of.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Um, That's if you want to play the lane aggressively. But obviously that's not the case when you're playing things like Orianna. Like if you're playing things like Zed, then maybe like things like Assassins requires you
Hmm.
to actually snowball. Otherwise, you might as well be playing Kassadin. Um,
Yeah.
so again, this is fine if you're playing Zed. What you're doing right here is fine because you're looking as much ways to punish the enemy as much as you can. But when you're playing
Hmm.
things like Orianna, it's much better for you to just try to play the lane based on economy. Hence, that's
Okay.
why like a lot of mages try to take TP if they can, but if they can't, they
Yeah.
take like barrier, exhaust, heal. They try to survive the lane. They try to make it hard for the enemy to actually lane, and they
Yeah.
play the laning phase like much more intelligently.
Okay. That makes sense.
Okay, right here you shove the wave. Like if she's not in lane, just shove the wave.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah, because she could be roaming.
this is pretty good for her. For you, I mean for you. Yeah, this is pretty good for you. But like
Yeah.
these are things like, if the enemy is dumb, they should never let you out for free. But
That's true.
but I'm not gonna discount the fact that you actually played this well,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
This is a combination of like you're pushing your lead, you're trying to push your advantage here, but also the enemy is also pretty dumb for you for them to let you out for free.
Yeah.
So right now obviously it's good for you, you know, that you have quite accumulated quite a good CS lead. She burned her sums, both her sums.
Hmm.
What do you think you should be doing after this?
Um. So at this point, we just lost our bot turret, so bot lane's gonna roam mid. Honestly, it would probably be best for me to go bot, right, and just farm. Then bot lane goes mid.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. At this point, so first of all, let's see. You walk back to lane. Just shove this wave again. Just try to clear this wave because you have no vision of where the enemy players are. So it's
Mhm.
really risky for you to actually walk up this line. Oh my god, my pens are not working. To walk up this line here.
Yeah.
This line here, because they could come from bot side because they have a pink here. They could come from this side. Ash could just out you as well, and you know there's a lot of ways for you to die right now.
Yeah.
So ideally, you just wanna play it safe, shove in the wave, call your Jinx to rotate to mid, and then for you to push out. So what you can do, tell her to go mid. You should push bot.
Mm.
You should push the wave up into the turret,
Mm.
and then try to and then rotate to mid. And you know if a fight happens, you can join. Ideally, like theoretically, if you push in the wave, someone should be at bot collecting the wave. So what will happen is usually that after you push in the wave, five of you will be at mid, four of them will be at mid because one of them will be at bot side. Or you know,
Yeah.
four of you could be at mid, and then three of them could be at mid. Uh, and you know top leaders are on islands or whatever,
Yeah.
unless they have TP. The other choice that you can try to do is that if so let's say if Jinx is already at mid, but this wave is pushing towards your side. What do you think you can do
Mhm.
here?
Could definitely freeze it.
Yep, you can try to
Yeah.
hold the freeze as much as you can, because again, this is kind of a variable where you're betting on your team doesn't just walk up and die for free, or you hope that they
Yeah,
won't
that's
get
what I get
caught.
worried about.
Um,
Yeah.
but we can also do the math here. So let's say your team dies, right? Let's say, but I'm also betting on the fact that like let's say again they like four of them doesn't just walk up, or
Mm.
like three of them doesn't just walk up and die for free because they don't have vision. I'm pretty sure like you're at like what gold right now?
Platinum 4, platinum 3.
Yeah, like you're around platinum. So I say this, but I also know what you're thinking. It's like, okay, platinum people probably have a bit of brain, but I've seen cases where I just want to gouge my eyes out.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
but let's just do the math here, okay? So let's say one of them dies. Okay, one of them dies. You lose about maybe like, so you lose 300 gold, and then several CS, which is like I don't know, like several CS split among
yeah. Mhm.
five people, because obviously there's the case of NA RAM.
Yeah.
So several means. So I'm not gonna try to account for CS here. I'm just gonna count for champion kills and maybe turret. Turret here, I think. God, I actually forgot how much turret gold gives. I think it's like 150
Yeah,
for
yeah, yeah.
everyone.
Yeah.
150 or 100. I don't think it's 150. You know what? Let me just do quick check, just to be sure. Turret go. Turret go. LOL. Turrets. Yeah, the first turret is worth 100. Oh, but that's playthings, right? Turret information. Blah 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 blah. This turret rewards. Okay, so the first turret yields 150 bonus local gold. And then global
Okay.
gold is given to the all the champions. It
Doesn't
doesn't
say how much.
Yeah, it doesn't say how much.
I think it's 150 though.
It should be 150, yeah.
Yeah.
But I just want to be sure so I can actually do the math here.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck, man, come on. Okay. Three shots. Blah 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 blah. No. This. Next is. Oh, okay. So here it is. Okay. So Oh, so it's only 50. Local goal is
50.
250, so that is split among every champion around mid.
Okay.
So this alter inhib. Okay, right. So alter turret. So in mid, if they take it down, they will get like all of them will get 50, so they will get a total of 250, and then they will split 250. So they will get a total goal of 100 at best.
Yeah, 100.
At best, like if all five of them are at mid, all
Yeah,
five of
and
them are at
Yasuo
mid,
wasn't there, so.
and Yasuo wasn't there. So, but you know, for convenience wise, you know, let's just say like all of them will get well, fine, I can't really count that. So, but let's say like 250, divided by all five.
Yeah, so 50.
That's global. So, and then you add up with local goal, which is another 250 added. So that's about 800 gold. 800 gold. If they die, that's the case. But they will have to commit everyone at mid. So let's say if you're able to freeze the wave at bottom, let's say you can freeze like 3 waves, right? 3 waves. At this point of the game, each wave should have about 100. So that's about 300 gold here. 300 gold, but let's say, you know, if you can freeze more, then every extra wave is like 100. But then we also need to count like cannons. So that's about maybe like 400 to 500 gold plus EXP.
Yeah.
So it's actually not too bad if you're able to hold a freeze here, and you know, if your team doesn't fucking die for free. If your team actually is able to defend, you know, if your team is actually smart, they should be fine at mid. So if you hold a freeze here, it's still not too bad for you, as long as no one dies for free.
Yeah.
Realistically speaking, even if they get a kill here, your team might be able to trade one back.
That's true.
Right, and you know, again, unless, you know, there are scenarios where, you know, your team could just, you know, run it down mid, and then, you know, you lose like I don't know, 900 gold, but that's out of your control. Like, that is way out of your control. You can't really account for that. Like it like, you could give the mental process, or like the perspective of saying like, oh, if I don't join my team, they might just run it down. But if you join your team, and nothing happens, you also lose gold on your side lanes because you're not farming the waves. So that's one thing you can think about. I'm just gonna fast forward this because I feel like. Let's see here. Yeah, so this is a scenario where you die for free, and this is even worse for you because now you lose like about 1,000 to 2,000 gold, 1,000 to 1,500 gold. They should not be able to do this. What the fuck?
Yeah, at this point, the game was pretty much over at this point.
No, what the fuck? Okay, so they push tier 2. They push tier 2, but if they stay for... Wait, what the fuck did Shiva... Okay, Shiva died again, whatever. But that doesn't matter, because Yasuo isn't really in this fight. I mean, he doesn't even TP. So it's just purely 4v4.
Yeah.
Okay, so at this point, if your team fights here, your team should win. Because your team has spent their goal. If you look at the items... Okay, if you look at items, okay, fine. You know what? Warwick is a hit, but both of you actually have the same items. So, you know, Warwick and Rek'Sai is actually the same. You have Ludens. Lux has Ludens, but you have an extra blasting one, and also you have Dark Seal. Well, we kind of have to discount Dark Seal because they have Doran's Ring here. But you have an extra blasting one. Bot lane wise, I'm not sure why the QSS is here. But maybe I feel like it's a bit too early to get QSS.
Yeah.
But realistically speaking, you know, if QSS was another item, they're actually not too far in terms of
Yeah.
fighting power.
Yeah, not too far.
Even for bot lane, you have a teens. They only have um, Leandres, and then you have your team has Edu Whips and Forbidden Idol. So realistically speaking, your team is actually kind of even in terms of
Yeah.
fighting levels or like
Yeah, it's
fighting
winnable.
difference, item difference. The only major difference right here, it's items, is levels. But this is probably the highest chance for your team to win a team fight because if they base,
Yeah.
they will get more items. So
Yeah.
this is the best chance for you to team fight here. But let's see how the team fight actually rolled out. A bit slower.
Yeah. My Q didn't go.
You don't even have to flash in. Actually, oh wait, do you want to flash QR?
Yeah.
You don't even have to. You don't really have to do that at all because you can just walk in, just R or like yeah, you can just E onto Rek'Sai and then R, or even better yet, you can just even Q here and then R, and you still be able to pull
Yeah.
him. Or you can just slowly walk in the fight. You don't have to. So right, what you're doing right now is that you're putting yourself on a silver plate right here.
Yeah.
Which is never good, especially if you're a mage or if you're the carry. You will almost never see pro players, especially mid laners and ADCs flashing in like this, unless
Yeah.
it's like 200% safe. Unless they're chasing for the last guy who has like 5 HP or whatever,
Yeah.
then maybe do it. But in this kind of scenario, what you're basically saying is that okay, I'm gonna flip the coin, and if I land a really good out here, maybe my team wins. But if I fuck up, 100% we lose all the time.
Yeah.
And then unfortunately, you got the worst side of the coin here.
Side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you lose this. This is also bad because you're the carry, you should never put yourself for free for the enemy team.
Yeah.
It's kind of like when you're playing like carries, it's always important to keep in mind that okay, I'm a carry, I cannot let myself die for free without dealing like abundance amount of damage.
Yeah.
This is the mentality that you should always have. If you're playing like assassins or whatnot, your job, as long as you kill like one guy and like deal a bunch to a lot of the enemy team, then that's fine because you're actually just killed one guy and that's fine. But if you're playing mages, you should have the mindset of like I need to do as much DPS as I can before dying. It's fine if the enemy like commits, like a lot of flashes for you and then you die. But this is the other way around where you commit a flash and then you die. And at this point, onwards, I think you just straight up lose the game. You are like 6k behind. They take Drake. I think your team steals the Baron here, or your team sneaks the Baron.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, Rek'Sai did steal.
Oh, you see, I steal Baron, but it's still not good enough because your team is just too far behind.
Yeah.
You don't have enough to fight them, and then you just straight up lose the game here.
Yeah.
Okay. You have any questions so far?
No. I think you've explained really well. Yeah. I think.
Yeah. I feel like instead of playing a fighting game, think of it as like try to read, like if you play poker, right? Try to read your enemy mid laner much more.
Okay.
I don't know why my replay just hard froze.
Yeah, the client is really weird.
Yeah, the client these days has been a bit weird for most people. Okay, let me just.
Yeah, I think sometimes I try to play every champion like Zed.
Yeah, that's so one thing that you can take from Zed is what can you actually take from Zed is, well, I guess looking for opportunities. And that's really good. I feel like you probably have a really good sense of doing that. But one thing that you need to also realize is that you can't really do that most of the time. Especially when you're not as mobile as Zed, because Zed has W, Zed has ult. You can look for outplays. Now I'm not saying that you can't outplay on you can't outplay on Orianna.
But it's harder.
Yeah, it's much harder. It's much more you have to coordinate a lot more things for you to actually try to outplay with Orianna. Okay. No. Okay. Okay. There we go. So, if you have no questions, I will end the recording. Uh,
Cool.